Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Power Up You and Your Business October Summit. I can't believe that October is already here, and I'm back with you with another summit. I have amazing ladies and amazing conversations that are going to happen so organically as they always do. The summit is actually sponsored by the Life School, and it's where our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the right education and skills to build a legacy life and business. I'm your host, Alona Lopari, former Fortune 500 corporate CEO turned purpose driven entrepreneur. And like I said before, we have brought you amazing guests, experts that will share their journey and their area of expertise in really helping you align your life and business and help you power up yourself to the next level so that your business can become a byproduct of that. We talk very often here how important is it that we develop ourselves as entrepreneurs and as business owners, and then of course our business can make even more impact and income as we elevate ourselves to the next level. So I'm going to be introducing each one of my amazing lineup of speakers today. I'm going to start my first speaker, Amy Shad. I hope I said your last name correctly. Amy, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. And I'm looking forward to hear a little bit about your story, background, and also the topic that you'd like to share with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you can go right in, share a little bit.
I'm going straight in. All right. So I'm Amy Shade. I work with women and a handful of men on producing their live events, summits and live events for their business. And I support them throughout the whole process. And we create a beautiful summit or live event for building your list, for creating relationships, and this idea of co-creation. And I want to speak into that. So what happened in my story was I've been an educator my whole life, a dancer, dance educator, a teacher. And so and I had a major event happen to me, and the major event was my fiance passing away. And from that point, through that evolution, I decided to become a coach through just that experience. And I don't know about you out there, but oftentimes we as coaches, we as people of missions, we as people of service, we have so much to offer and so much we want to do in our life. And I remember sitting in my living room going, I have so much to offer and I have no audience. I have no one to give my service to. And so this is where live events can, if you're in that position where you are feeling like I have so much to give and I don't even know how to get my first client, or I don't even know how to build my community. Live events are a really super fun way to do it, in my opinion. And they were the thing that I decided to invest in and decide to create my business off of. And at this point, I do have a monthly live event that I put on for my community. And that allowed me to create a community, a list, and also to create relationships with people of other coaches, other entrepreneurs. And to be honest with you, that taking that step really took me into the entrepreneurship space. Like, I feel like being a coach is like being a coach. It's not an entrepreneur. Like, being a coach is being of service, and being an entrepreneur is being resourceful, is being resilient, is being creative. So I want to speak to you a little bit about, what this could look like for you and your business and how it works and some simple steps to take you to, really creating a live event. Oftentimes the 21-day summits, those are traditional, and I don't really recommend those for, beginning entrepreneurs who want to do it on their own. Oftentimes I feel like that's it's a very tedious, basically my first 9 months of building my summits out, I was like a total wreck. And live events are so much easier, like something like Ilona's put on today. It's much more accessible for you if you're starting out. So what does that look like? How do we get people to want to sign on to our project, right? This because it is a project. Um, well, first and foremost, you need a title and a tagline for your ideal client to really to gravitate towards, right? And the title is like 3 to 4 things. My titles are like The Unstoppable You, Life After Divorce. They're just a title, and your tagline speaks into what you're going to do for them. What problem is your summit going to solve for them? Okay. So in your title, I have one of my titles was Ignite Your Fire, right? And I had like a burlesque person on there. I had me as an embodiment and another spiritual teacher. And it's like awaken your confidence. That's what you're going to get. You're going to liberate your inner voice, and you're going to rise up into your most badass self, right? So you're giving them the takeaways that they are going to walk away with in your tagline. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is really the Jen email. Is it okay if I'm still going, Ilona?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right.
It's amazing nuggets you're sharing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then once you have your title and tagline, you create a Jen email. And the Jen email is really about your purpose, why you're doing it, the requirements, the details of the event, a link to your calendar, and it also has the graphic. Like it's important you put the graphic in the Jen email, and you start reaching out to experts. Now, this is, oftentimes you might send 150 to 200 Jen emails for a 21-day summit. Right? So this is where like a lot of the work comes in of research. This is where you get to be committed to like waking up every day and sending out 5 to 10 Jen emails a day. But the Jen email is something that speakers who do speaking, they understand what it is. It's like, so when I get a Jen email from someone, I'm like, okay, I understand what it is. And you get to put your purpose on there, your requirements. Some people require a list of, 5,000 or more. Some people don't. You put your promo dates on there. So we as entrepreneurs, we have to know the promo dates and see if that's clear in our calendar. And the link to your calendar is for a speaker call. Now, I always recommend a speaker call. Some people don't. But your speaker call is important because what you're doing is you are enrolling that expert into your mission. Why is that important? Well, they probably have like 3 or 4 summits they're doing at the same time in some level. It's like you get to really get them to care about your mission, your purpose, and your project. So I always say in the speaker call, you open up with your own story. Why are you doing the summit? Why is it important to you? Why is this your mission? And then you get to ask, so why did you respond to this email? What got you excited about the project? They get to tell you about how they can help you in your project, because this is really also, and this is a shift, right? The shift is you are the producer of this event. You are the one who is doing all the work, producing it, and you get to decide if this person in front of you is also a good fit for your summit. So once you get into your story, you enroll them in that. You ask them, why did they decide to, respond to your email? So they can also enroll themselves in your project, right? And then you go over the requirements and you ask them if that works for them. And this is an opportunity for you to connect with them, to create a relationship with them that you can use. That I have partnerships all over the place because I've had over probably 250 people on my shows, right? So, and this is as an entrepreneur in nowadays 2022 and last 5 years, it's about co-creating. It's about what can we do together that we can create something beautiful. Whether it's a summit, whether it's exchange of will you promote my workshop for me and I'll promote yours. This is where, as entrepreneurs, you get out of the lone wolf stage and you go into co-creation, you go into partnership, and you go into like serving your peers. And that's kind of like how it starts off. You do your title and tagline, you get your Gen email, and then you start reaching out to these speakers. You have these speaker calls, and every speaker call you have, you feel more invigorated, you feel more into, it's important to have these calls because it really solidifies your mission. And then I think I'm at my time because I'm at 11, but I'm just going to say, like, there is an event checklist that I'm going to give to you guys also. It'll be in the chat box in the Facebook group that it really breaks down every step for you. Because there's so many steps when you decide to do an online show. But I will stop it there if that's okay.
Wow. Amy, I love that. I mean, events are a great way. We talk about, growing our business and we have to invest in personal relationships. We don't have to, we get to invest in personal relationships. So events are really a great way to increase your brand visibility, for people to connect with you, your energy alignment and all of that good stuff. So I love everything you have shared with us and all the different, the framework that you brought with us. I'm sure there's so much, detail that goes into that. But that's, I think, the main struggle for most people, to bring like the messaging, how to actually get people to participate in your mission. So I love that you shared that. You do have to share that personal story with people so they connect with your story and mission, so that obviously they understand what's in it for them, so they can also participate in that beautiful partnership and co-creation that's a mutually beneficial relationship for both parties. I have a question for you, Amy, since I have you here. I'm so glad that you came and you're sharing everything that you're doing with us. How often, so for this summit, obviously this is a smaller scale event with people in our community, but how often should we put together an event that's might be more of a bigger scale, so that we go through that process to increase our brand visibility?
Yeah, so if you're going to do a big summit, probably once 1 to 2 times a year, the big summits. You can also do like I did my Life After Divorce Summit, and then I relaunched it. You can also do that. Like, you can relaunch it later on in the year, add some new experts, go back to your experts and like, hey, can you mail for this again, so that we can, and they'll mail for you again. And so you can also, if you have, like, I did Life After Divorce twice so far, to support women after, and experts they're really happy to mail for you again. And plus you can ask new experts to join the panel. And there's so many there's so many creative ways to do a summit. It's just insane. I mean, if you, the doors, it's like a wide door. Like I do my recorded summits, and I have 2 live events within those summits because I love live events. Like, I love being live. Right. So you can set up your summit however you want. As I say, it's like twice a year is probably a good big summit to keep, your list, to keep growing your list. And then you can do 1-day summits. I do a monthly 1-day. It's a live event. I shouldn't say summit. I would say live event every month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love that. It's all these beautiful strategies, and don't do them all, because sometimes
No.
that's why we get overwhelmed. It's like, oh my gosh, I do this, I do that.
Yes.
So do what aligns with you, one step at a time, but be very clear about the purpose. I think that's really important, and I
The
think that's really
purpose has
shared
to
as
be on spot. Yes.
well.
The purpose has to be on spot. And you need to like pick a time and a date that you're going to, that needs to be out there first. Also, I forgot, I should have said that first. Get your date solidified.
But we have you here, and you're an amazing resource. Thank you so much
Mm.
for everything you share with us. Before we go to our next speaker, we have you in our community, and at the end, you'll be able to share with us all the amazing ways that people can connect with you. Thank you so much for everything you shared.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now I'm going to my next speaker, Marcy McDonald. Marcy, thank you so much for being here, and looking forward to hearing everything that you have to share with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Okay, awesome sauce. I am Marcy McDonald. As Alona said, I am a mindset expert and an end-of-life doula. So I combine neuroscience with the perspective of looking at your life from what if this were your last day, to have really powerful impact on how people are feeling, acting, and thinking. So I want to share with you something I've been seeing as a trend in the last 6 months. I have gone to more than 50 networking events and spoken to hundreds of people in that time frame. And I've realized a reason why so many entrepreneurs are literally cutting off their income by 50 to 70%. It's not because their list is too small. It's not because they don't have a killer webinar. And it's not because they need to learn how to promote on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Most entrepreneurs cut off their success, I'm seeing, before they even start. So even if they're doing everything they're supposed to, it's not getting results. But there's one thing I've seen that both men and women are doing that's creating this limit, that's limiting themselves, that's sabotaging their success without them even realizing it. And that's how they're talking to themselves. They just don't hear what they're saying in their head when they show up to a client, how that inner chatter is showing up in their sales calls, or when they're talking to, say, a potential JV partner, or they're at a networking event. They don't hear what they're saying to themselves when they try a new strategy and it doesn't work. They don't hear what they're saying to themselves when they're waking up all night long, stressed because they aren't making the money they thought they'd have by now. And it seems like everyone around them is succeeding when they aren't, even though they're working so hard. I don't know if anybody out there has ever felt any of these things, but I'm seeing it over and over. The negative things you may be saying to yourself every day, again, usually without noticing it, is one of the most common problems I see blocking entrepreneurs from success. If you're filled with doubt, you cannot succeed. Bottom line. Here's what I do to fix that and what you can start doing. I change people's lives by showing them what to pay attention to, what to ignore, and how to do both better. So think about that. What are you paying attention to that you shouldn't be paying attention to? What are you ignoring that you should be paying attention to? That's exactly why I work with people on what they're telling themselves on their self-talk. It's a huge piece of this question. What should you pay attention to? What should you ignore? How can you do things differently so you feel better about yourself and your life and free up the energy and focus you need to do the work ahead of you? This is an especially critical question right now, as a lot of entrepreneurs are feeling the pinch of the economy changing. They're finding sales are slowing down. So anyone out there beginning to feel this pinch or this worry of what's going to happen, it's keeping people from buying sometimes. So I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs as a result beat themselves up right now, when what they really need to do is shore up their confidence and their belief in themselves, so they have the energy and the resilience they need to pivot, to experiment, and to change strategies to match what their clients are feeling and doing. So I want to give you a quick roundup of mindset tips that will help you keep your self-talk positive and turbocharge your business as a result. Because right now, all that negative self-talk is sucking up your time and your energy and your focus that you could be putting toward your business to getting things done. So 1, limit the news. Seriously, the news is just one giant negative mindset and mind suck. Cannot focus if your mindset is compromised by news that's designed to make you worry and to increase your stress. It's not there to make you feel better. 2, stay away from doomsday sayers. If that's you, it's a destructive habit and you're not helping anyone else either. Instead, surround yourself with people and especially other entrepreneurs who are emotionally healthy and make you feel better about things. 3, and this is really important, don't take things that aren't working personally. Being an entrepreneur is a giant experiment. You're in your crazy lab trying things, analyzing how well they worked, and then tweaking what you're doing based on what you learned. There are no failures. There are just things that don't work. That attitude will keep you experimenting so that you can get to the things that do work. So 4, be flexible. Pay attention to your mindset, to your market, to your audience, and your products. Especially right now, you need to be willing to shift and or pivot as needed. Throw being perfect out the window. Perfectionism is a success killer. So 5, get out there more, not less. Adopt an I can't fail, but I can learn attitude and do a blitz of talks, calls, networking. Try your messaging on people at the coffee shop, everywhere, to practice and refine it, to adjust to what your ideal clients are saying right now. So 6, quit comparing yourself to others. It won't help you, but it will drag you down. Pay attention to that self-talk that fills you with doubt. If you see another entrepreneur in your space who's kicking butt, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't give up. See what they're doing that's working and then figure out how to do it too, only better, because you've got your own unique personality and strengths. Finally, stop what you're doing if it's not working. Don't make the sunk cost mistake where you say to yourself, I've already spent so much time or so much money on this, I can't change now. Well, you can. If it's not working, you're going to lose more money and more time. Position yourself for success by changing strategies when you need to. Being willing to change is a sign of an emotionally healthy mindset, and an emotionally healthy mindset is what will get you through the recession and have you succeeding for years and years. So there you go. There's a quick lesson on how to shift your self-talk so you can recession-proof your mindset. When your self-talk is positive and healthy, you're going to stop raining on your own parade, and you'll get the energy, focus, and clarity you need to succeed in your business and enjoy your life. So if you'd like a jump start on making some of these changes, I'm going to offer my complimentary e-guide, 7 steps to silence your inner critic, so that voice inside that's not lifting you up, you can tamp down. I'll put that link in the comment section once we get on the Facebook page. So thanks. Hope that helps.
Marcy, thank you so much for that beautiful wisdom. I think what you talked about is so important. Oh my gosh, it's like the hidden killer behind behind your business success and making the impact that you want. I love that you said that being an entrepreneur, it's you're always experimenting and change fast. I read somewhere that, and I just know from my life experience, make fast decisions and then change them slowly and adapt along the way, not the other way around. So I love that you shared that perfectionism and is the greatest killer. We have to be able to pivot and adapt. Adaptability is one of the most important skills in this journey. So I think you just shared that so beautifully. Thank you so much for all of that.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, awesome. Now I'm looking forward to going to my next speaker, Parmelia Parham. We had a really beautiful connection when we first connected together on LinkedIn. So I'm looking forward to have Parmelia share a little bit regarding her story and also the amazing work she's doing in the world.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. And I really appreciate listening to the last 2 speakers. Very interesting, and certainly agree with what you're doing and what you're saying. So my mission and purpose is to create a proactive wellness society. So I have created an online platform for holistic practitioners. It's called the Healing Institute. And we are ready to launch it any minute now. We've just got a couple of final pieces to do. And then right now I have 28 practitioners that are representing 8 countries. So we really want to get the message out to the world that we can be holistic, we can be healthy. We want to create a proactive wellness society. We've been a reactive illness society for way too long. And so the practitioners that I have so far all have fantastic holistic modalities that we're ready to share with the world and let people know how they can be well and stay well on their health journey. So we are a international wellness community. We have a community of practitioners, but we also want to create a community for clients. So when a client comes to the Healing Institute and finds a modality or finds a practitioner they want to work with, we're looking at the whole person client. And what I mean by that is that if the modality that I do is called the body code. So if somebody came to me for a session on the body code, but I thought, okay, that's great. But they could also utilize other modalities, other practitioners that have the work that they do, then as practitioners, we would get together on a Zoom call, put together a plan and give it back to the client. So we're looking at creating that health journey for the client, in that we want to make sure that they have all the information that they possibly can have in order to be well and to stay well. So I've been creating this platform for the last 18 months. My story is that I started over 20 years ago, just wanting to feel more grounded, to feel more in balance. Started studying under a teacher for 8 years that I studied with her, and learned how to balance my chakras, learned how to realign limiting beliefs, learned how to heal past lifetime energy. And that led me to, when I was introduced to the emotion code and the body code, it made perfect sense. So I have a mission to get out into the world and let people know that they can be well and they can stay well. And that's what I'm planning to do with my Healing Institute. Now, I'm calling it an institute because I'm really passionate about the education of the general public. We need to educate people around how they can be well and how they can stay well. And we need to educate people that our bodies are actually very, very amazing and they can heal themselves. So people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, who have lots of information on YouTube and have their own videos about how that can happen and the science that's behind it, which I believe once you know a bit more about the science behind it, it's not just something that someone has made up, or if you don't understand holistic versus allopathic medicine, then that gives you a better insight. So we will be having, as well as having the directory of all of the practitioners, we will also eventually down the road, once we get this launched, having a whole area just for information. And this will be qualified information because it'll be mostly from the practitioners. And so I want that to be available. So anybody coming to the website will be able to connect with a practitioner, schedule an appointment with them. And that part, of course, is a payment. But if the portion that I'm going to be developing just on education, that will all be free. So people can come to the website and find out information about how to be well from a holistic point of view. There's a few statistics that I have found that I have helped me not only just qualify what I am doing, but there was a research done back in March 2021. So I think the number is even higher now. So it was a research company called Hero Digital. And at that time, they interviewed the world, and 83% of the people that they interviewed said that they were ready and willing to seek virtual care, and were likely to switch from medical providers that they would normally go to. So that's really a great statistic for me to support what I am doing with the Healing Institute. McKinsey and Company said that telehealth now has stabilized at 38 times higher than before the pandemic. And Harvard Business Review organizations have now transitioned to video and phone visits. So as we know, because as entrepreneurs, we've all been on Zoom for the last nearly 2 years. So we know that it has become a norm for us. And so we just want to be able to provide that information from a health point of view to the rest of the world. So Parmelia Parham, the Healing Institute, I look forward to any questions you might have.
All right, Parmelia, I love your mission. It attracted me as soon as we connected from beautiful LinkedIn community. I love that you said that our bodies are so smart and they can heal themselves. I think the more education we learn about that through all the resources that you're putting together, the more we will be healthy overall in all the areas of our lives, because that's very important. And the pandemic actually showed us that. And I always share that our health is our new wealth, because without that, we can't make the impact that we want to make in the world. So it's that important. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right, absolutely beautiful. And another amazing connection from my LinkedIn community. I am big on community, as you guys can tell. I think it's where I get the most fulfillment, connecting people, sharing, everyone's missions and visions. I think it just makes the world a much more beautiful place. And that's where I actually connected with Jackie Zoccoli. Jackie, thank you so much for coming here today. And I'm looking forward to have our audience now hear a little bit more regarding what you are doing out there in the world. Oh, Jackie, we have an audio issue. We cannot hear you. No, cannot hear you still. No. Okay, hopefully now. No. So, Jackie, I think we had the same thing before and we were able to hear you. So while maybe you get that audio situated, I will go to my other amazing speaker, Amy Merson. Amy, thank you so much for being here. We have also connected through Facebook, so I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more regarding what you are doing out there as well, while Jackie straightens out the audio.
Thank you so much. You can hear me, I hope?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, so my business is Understanding Ego, and what I do is I'm a mindset coach and I work with women, and my programs are designed to help women to identify the role of ego in their lives. And ego is the source of fear. And one of the other speakers spoke about the voice in our head, the negative voice. And, our ego is based in fear. Our ego keeps us in places that no longer serve us because it's familiar, and the ego fears the idea of change. So I have developed this entire process of identifying the ego and observing and really looking at how the ego is operating in our lives and, managing the ego. The ego will always be there, but it doesn't have to be the loudest voice in the room. And so that is really how my programs are designed to sort of manage the ego so we can move beyond it and move into a life that is filled with change and possibility, and move away from stagnant mindsets and patterns that no longer work. But the thing that I really, I'm really passionate about this business because it is absolutely life-changing, the work that I'm able to do with women and to be able to teach these things to other women to help them expand their lives. And I'm also really passionate about talking about the way that this business developed for me, because I feel like, they're absolutely both related, the ego and my work in this business. But really the piece that I wanted to talk about today is aligned action. And, we hear a lot, there's all these buzzwords out there about manifestation and law of attraction, which I love that everybody's talking about this, because actually one of my signature talks, the title of my talk is "You Are Who You Think You Are." And because I absolutely believe that. But the aligned action piece is not something that I hear too many talk about. We can definitely manifest the life that we desire, but we can't just, think the good thoughts and feel the good feelings and not take any action. Action is required. And that's really how my business started. I had this idea that was planted in me, born in me, came to be. I'm not really sure. I couldn't identify where it came from, but I know that I had an idea, and my own ego kept that idea subdued for a long time. And it was actually at the beginning of the pandemic, when I had a lot of time on my hands, that I could no longer ignore it. And so I started the journey, which would eventually become my business. And the aligned action that I really like to talk about is taking that first step. I had this idea and I kept shunning the idea. No, I can't do that. The idea was for me to begin making YouTube videos. I had spent a few years doing a lot of work on myself, working on my self-esteem, working on my confidence, breaking a lot of patterns in my life and managing my own ego. And then I had an idea to create some YouTube videos discussing the process and discussing what I was experiencing and how I was working on getting out of my head and getting out of that ego voice and making changes and getting so much satisfaction out of my life by doing that. And so that was really the first action for me, was making that first YouTube video. And it was a really vulnerable thing for me to do. I was never an oversharer. I never shared much of anything, to be honest. And so to make that video went against everything that I ever thought that I was. And it brought me to a place of vulnerability that was beyond anything I could have imagined. But I knew I had to do it. And so when I took that step, I didn't know any of the steps that would come after that. I only knew that I had to take that step. And that is the aligned action piece that I don't hear very many people think about or talk about, because I didn't know what the steps after that would be. I didn't know where that YouTube video was going to take me. I had no idea, but I knew I had to take the step. And so I trusted in that feeling that I had. I took the step, I made the video, I published the video, I posted it on my personal Facebook page. I didn't even have a group back then. And I got a lot of really good feedback. And I knew I couldn't be the only one that had these problems. So that is where my journey started. I made a few more videos, and then I started to get into using social media to get my message out there. And it just snowballed into the business that I have today. But it started with that first step. And then after the first step, after I took that first step, the next step was revealed to me. And it has been that way ever since. Every time I take a step in the direction that I'm going, that I want to go, because I could very easily not take any steps anymore and just sit back and wait for life to happen to me. But I know it doesn't work like that. So as I continue to take each step, the path is unfolding in front of me. The next step is revealed. And now I've come to this place where, I have this business, Understanding Ego. I have a Facebook group that I actually just started 2 months ago. I have almost 300 people in my group, which I'm really proud of because it has just grown organically. I also have, I'm a meditation teacher, so that's another little branch of what I'm doing. I also have a guide to staying in the present moment. A big part of my problem in the past was getting so caught in my own head that I was absolutely missing what was going on right in front of me, which meant missing time with my children. I may have been physically there, but I was not mentally or emotionally there because I was so caught up in my head and my own anxieties. So I wrote this guide. It's called Now Is All That Matters. And I will definitely link it here for everyone. It's free. It's like 9 pages. It's a really quick read, but it really is designed just to help you to remind yourself to stay in the present moment, because so often we miss what's happening right in front of us because we're caught up in thinking about things that are not even relevant to this moment we're living right now. So yeah, I just really want to talk about the importance of aligned action. And if you have something guiding you in a specific direction or towards a certain thing, you don't need to know how it's going to happen. You only need to follow the first step and then just keep going. The path will unfold in front of you. Yeah, so that's it. That's really what I wanted to share today. I really appreciate being here and having the opportunity to share my message, and I hope it was helpful.
Well, Amy, that was beautiful. The ego is what actually attracted me to you when we first initially connected, and I loved the entire message that you shared about bridging the gap between both, on how to be in our feminine energy, but also we have to take action so that the next step unfolds. And I think we can all relate to that, because it's kind of how we have developed and grown our businesses, just by taking one step at a time and really having the next new idea or the next logical thing that we need to work on. So I love that you shared that. And Amy, I'm very curious. I have a question for you. So being personally a very ambitious, highly driven woman, I've done my work with ego for sure in my inner work. What do you feel for, how does high ego show up for people that might have a more developed sense of a higher ego, let's say, and how is it that they can work on managing that, especially driven entrepreneurs that are looking to grow businesses at higher scales?
I think that the real issue that tends to trip people up as far as ego goes is feeling like we have the answers and not having an open mind to what's around us and the information or the messages that are flowing to us. Having a closed mind because we feel like we know where we're going, we know how we're going to get there. For me, closed-mindedness has never been helpful. And even if I think I know the path that I'm on, or I have a vision, I know where I want to be, and I kind of know how to get there, but I hope I'll never say I absolutely know how to get there, because I certainly don't have all the answers, and I can learn from anybody. So I would say that that's a big one.
Yeah, I could so relate to that. So having a growth mindset, having an open mind,
Absolutely.
listening, look into all the clues that we are connecting along the way, as our inner intuition also speaks to us for sure. Okay, beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that. And I'm going to my last speaker at this point, Jackie. I hope that we have situated the audio. No, oh, we still cannot hear you. No, could you maybe remove the headphones? I don't know if there's something else we could try. If not, then I'm just gonna have to bring you back to another summit, because you'll be ashamed not to be able to hear your beautiful message. But no, cannot hear you. Okay, so let's we will close off, Jackie. I'll definitely have you back in our future summits so that you can share all the amazing work that you're doing out there. And as a final wrap up to the summit, I like to ask my guests, what is a final message that their school of life has taught them, and also what's a way for the audience to connect with them? So I will go with Parmelia next. Parmelia.
Yes. Okay. My final message, I think, will be just to be open to receiving other kinds of information about health and how to be healthy. We're conditioned. We've been conditioned for so long that there's only one way to be healthy, and that's to see somebody who does allopathic medicine, give you, will fix you, give you some kind of medication that will make your symptom go away. For those of us in the holistic realm, we know that yes, that there's always a place for that kind of medicine, but really that's not getting to the root cause of what the issue is. So whether it's emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, just giving it covering it up is not getting to the root cause. So just to have people be open to the fact that there are so many other ways to be well holistically. And you can reach me at info@the-healing-institute.com. And if there's on my website, which is www.the-healing-institute.com, you can, if you're a practitioner and you want to be interested in being part of the platform, you can fill out a form there. And if you're a client and you're looking for a holistic information, there's a fillable form there, and those come to me as an email. So yes, thanks so much for allowing me to be part of this. I've very much enjoyed listening to the other speakers, and I greatly appreciate being part of your summit today.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and everything you share with us. Awesome. And Amy.
So I guess my final thought here today would be I would urge your listeners to stop saying no to themselves. I find if I hear a suggestion or an idea and my first thought is no, that is not coming from an informed place or a spiritual or aligned place. That is generally my ego, my closed mind jumping in and just immediately rejecting something before even processing the thought of the idea. So I would say definitely stop saying no to yourself. And I can be found at my website is understandingego.com, and you can find a spot to drop an email to get the free guide that I talked about, although I'll also attach the links here. And my Facebook group is also Understanding Ego. And if anyone has any questions on the website, you can book a 15-minute call with me. I'm always happy to take calls. I'm always happy to answer questions, always available for that. DMs, emails, amy@understandingego.com. Always happy to discuss or answer questions or whatever, to connect with whomever may feel called to reach out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And Marcy.
So my message is pretty simple. You may only have today. So live it, love it, and learn from it. So often I talk to people who say, someday I'm going to make this change. Someday I'm going to be happier. Someday I'm going to travel the world or build my business, whatever it is. Someday is the same as saying no day. So take advantage of today and do the things that are truly important to you, that really matter. And that includes making changes so that you are happy about every day. You can reach me. The easiest way is just to go to my website, selfmasterytransformation.com. There's a link to my free e-guide, 7 Steps to Silence Your Inner Critic. There's also a link to set up a strategy mindset reset booty call, whatever. Not booty, but boot camp call. And you can always use the contact form there. So reach out, grab me, let me help you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Marcy, for that. And Jackie Zaccoli, I will have her back. Check her out on LinkedIn. She's an amazing strategic partner, collaborator, and connector. And we all know that in order to grow and do more magic in the world with the work we do, strategic partnerships are really important in our business. And Amy Schatz, she had to run, but you will find all these amazing speakers inside our Facebook group community with all the links for easy share. They will share everything there as well. Check out Badass Mission Driven Entrepreneur Community inside our Facebook, and that's where you'll find all the amazing easy connection links for all the speakers. I want to thank all my amazing speakers. Every time we do this summit monthly, we just walk away with new inspiration, new connections, new amazing ideas that, at least for me, I'm always learning and growing and really absorbing all the amazing wisdom that's being shared here today. So I hope it was the same for everyone that was listening today. I want to thank all the speakers for everything they had to share. And I want to welcome you in our upcoming summit. It's going to be November 22nd, a little bit before Thanksgiving. And we will have Jackie back. So you don't want to miss that one, because Jackie has a lot to share with us on that retrospect. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your Thursday, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you.